Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Crystals and Coffee. We have a special guest on today. I'm having 𝗧𝗹𝗏 of the Astro Twins on to talk about what's happening in the stars. And we have got so many planets retrograding right now that I knew she would be the right person to talk to about what's happening. 𝗧𝗨!
Hey, Colleen, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I am, well, I'm sitting in my quarantine pod living room here. I've got a dachshund snoozing behind me, so hopefully he'll behave for the video. How are you?
I'm good. I'm actually on the opposite side of the country. I'm on the East Coast right now. So, all the way over here. And yeah, it's going good, except for all these planets retrograding, lady.
Oh my God.
I need your help.
Let's talk about it. I'm going to put on my glasses just so I can see what people, I love yours.
So you can get serious.
Exactly. We're talking retrogrades. We need glasses for this. Absolutely. Combed hair, not for Sagittarius, but Well, I'm glad we finally get to meet again. We met once briefly, but it's just been crisscrossing, and here we are. So yeah.
Oh gosh, you're already having requests. People want to talk about the eclipses. But I think, but lady, I just want you to steer. I mean, there's there's so much planetary action going on. So
there really is. It's sort of out of control. We've got, the big one that's happening now is Venus retrograde. Venus, the planet of love and beauty and romance and creativity. But in the middle of May, we had Saturn and then Jupiter and Venus all turn retrograde. So there's a lot of fear of a retrograde planet out there. And before I even start diving into that, I just want to kind of clear up that misconception about retrogrades. Although they are a little bit of a beast, they actually can be seen as an opportunity if you want to work with them that way. They're an opportunity to kind of go back and review and reset yourself. And really, during the retrogrades, I think they give us the opportunity to really lift the veil and peer deeper into the vault and deal with what's going on that we don't have time for usually, that we're racing past. And so, it is a serious retrograde summer. You're apart from your love right now with Venus retrograde.
I am. Yeah, I haven't seen him since February.
Oh my God, are you serious?
I'm real fucking serious.
We just said, should we tell him? Her partner, Satnam, and I are Astro Twins. Basically, we're both born on December 2nd, and he brought us together for this. He's an amazing guy. I know I think I looked up your chart when you guys first met, actually. So.
Did you? Yeah. You chart stalked me. I love it.
A little bit. I was like, what do you think of Sag and Virgo? And of course, I gave it the thumbs up. The Beyonce Jay-Z combo that it is. So, but yeah, Venus. So Venus, the planet of love and beauty, is retrograde from May 13th to June 25th. And I think that's probably the one that people are feeling the most. It's retrograde in Gemini. What's really interesting about Venus's retrograde cycles is that it will return to the same point in the zodiac wheel for its retrograde every 8 years. So it only hits 5 specific points. I'm drawing a star right now. Because if you were to trace these retrogrades that happen every 18 months, it will go boop, 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 and then boop. So it actually would draw this star. So one of the 5 star points gets hit, and these recurring themes come up. So I don't know what you were doing in May and June of 2012, Colleen, if you can remember back, and everyone who's listening, you may want to, I know it's scroll back in your timeline some of those themes are probably really reemerging. Now, Venus rules the way we spend money. It rules our creativity. It rules what we consider romantic, or what opens our hearts, how we seduce, what we're drawn to. And so um, having Venus in Gemini can be a bit of a mind, you know?
Yeah.
Because there's this like mirroring, like, everyone around you is like a refracted mirror. Like, is that me? Is that you? Is that, how do we harmonize these things within ourselves? And are you finding that at all with like people in your life just kind of reflecting things back to you really quickly, or you're like picking up parts of each other's personalities in ways that are like mind bending right now?
Yeah, that it's absolutely happening. And of course, always, so I do private sessions with clients and do crystal readings, and I always see a little bit of my mirror kind of come through the door, but now it's just like mirror on the wall, like the people that are coming to me and what they want to talk about, it's up, lady.
Wow.
It's all up.
Yep, I'll bet. I mean, what I'm curious too. Are there like crystals that are good for like sort of integrating those? I feel like there's, like we're all projectors as human beings. We're like, they did this to me and this person and that, and like Venus retrograde and Gemini is like, whoa, but they're, that's actually a part of myself that I've sort of pushed away and I want to bring back in. Are there crystals that actually can, support that reintegration process at all?
There are crystals. There's different crystals that coordinate with every single sign, and different crystals that can help with different different ways that the planets are moving around. And I think I know Mercury's not retrograding, but that's the one where everybody feels like the sky is falling, or at least on social media that it's portrayed that way, maybe in your opinion. There's a crystal called Shaman Dream Quartz, which is like the crystal to work with when Mercury is in retrograde. So
perfect. Someone
stick that in your bra.
Shaman Dream Quartz. Where do I get some of that? That sounds amazing.
It's also that's its fancy name. Its real name is called Lodolite. Shaman Dream Quartz is more sexy though.
Shaman Dream Quartz is hey Mark, he's saying smoky quartz there too. So yeah. Mercury turns retrograde on June 18th to July 12th. So yeah, that's coming up this summer too.
Coming.
We're not going to be able to avoid it. So when a planet goes retrograde, the qualities of that planet kind of turn back in on us. So, and the thing that people should know is that every planet from Jupiter on out turns retrograde once a year for 4 to 5 months. So there's really no way of avoiding retrogrades. Mercury will be retrograde 3 to 4 times a year for 3 weeks. Venus every 18 months. Mars every pretty much 18 to 24 months. And then everything else, you just get half a year of it. So sometimes it can put the planet in the timeout chair a little bit too. Like Saturn, Saturn is a planet of challenges and structures, and it changes signs every 3 years, and it really throws things like into a new system. So Saturn has been in Capricorn, which is like the economy, businesses, governments. It's been like this really entrenched energy in Capricorn since the end of 2017, and it moved into Aquarius, which is about social justice and awareness, awakeness, change, on March 21st for this little preview period from March until July, and then it'll be in back in Capricorn until December 17th, and then it moves into Aquarius for basically 3 years, 2.5 years. So blah, blah, blah. That's a lot of dates. But when Saturn moved from Capricorn into Aquarius, we had this huge, that was when we all went into quarantine and we had to start using Zoom and Aquarius rules technology and socializing, and Saturn restricts. So social distancing forced us to rethink the way we treated each other, worked together in society and cooperation. But Saturn turned retrograde. When was it? It was maybe May 10th, I think. It was right at the, in the early May. And things started sort of people started to like loosen up some of the restrictions, figure out how to flow with the energy. So when Saturn goes retrograde, it's sometimes a relief, because it's like, okay, I can integrate these structures a bit, that are so, Saturn can be repressive and restrictive. Jupiter went retrograde, I think, right around the same time too. I wish I had my notes in front of me. It's probably the 12th, the 14th, that same week was retrograde hell. Jupiter I know, it really was. Jupiter is in Capricorn too, so it's expanding our thinking about businesses and how we work. Sometimes Jupiter can make us overdo everything, so it's retrograde, like gives us a chance to like, okay, just chill, everyone, and don't keep buying and expanding and growing and doing all that. So anyways, retrogrades, here we come. Do people have questions popping up, I wonder? Feel free to ask away, everyone. Yeah, otherwise
anybody
I'll just
has
talk
questions,
on.
shoot them over. You know what, I'll start with my question.
Yes,
something
please.
I wanted to know more about that felt very big was the north nodes are changing signs.
Oh yeah.
Or they changed signs.
I know. Could we just say May was an astrological shit show, perhaps?
Basically.
I mean, June doesn't look too much better. That depends on how willing you are to embrace change, though, because, or just roll with it. The summer's got a lot of, well, let's talk about the nodes, and then we can talk about eclipses too. So the north and south nodes of the moon are these 2 points in the sky where the eclipses happen, and they happen in pairs and opposite signs on the zodiac wheel. And so you'll get, and they go out, it's a cycle for about 2 years. They'll hit the same pair of opposite signs over and over. And the north and south nodes are right in those same zodiac signs. So we've had this Cancer Capricorn nodal axis going on. The north node was in Cancer, which rules women, home, family. So the north node is like our beacon. It's this new energy we're reaching toward as a society, as a world, as a collective conscious. So the south node, on the other hand, is the karmic cleanup point, where we see like we've maybe gone too far, too fast, done too many things that need to like be reckoned for. So Capricorn was the south node, Cancer was the north node from November 6th, 2018, the very day of the midterm elections, where more women won seats, and people of color, I think, too, in history. And then we ended it on May 5th, where everyone's in this very Cancerian, oh my God, my home, I got to deal with my home, my family. And then the Capricorn economic stuff was, we were all having to look at that. And actually, the nodes were in that very same position right after September 11th. So right during September 11th, and then they moved into Gemini Sagittarius, where they are now. So the north node is in Gemini, May 5th of 2020 till January 18th of 2021. So about 18 months. The south node, the karmic cleanup, is in Sagittarius, which is all about travel, globalism, cross-cultural relations. So here we are, like, there aren't many flights going on. We have to rethink the way we do travel. And, things start heating up, it's like, yes, there's been police brutality and racism going on all along, but it's really getting pushed into our public view. That there've been, deaths that were, murders that we're having to all look at. Like, who needs to clean this up? Who needs to, work on this? All of us do. Society does. It's a bit, so like, we're not going to be able to like sweep social justice issues under the rug or just like distract ourselves anymore. This Gemini North Node, however, is also bringing like the duality. Where am I a hypocrite? Where am I not owning my part in things? Where am I saying, you do this, I'm not a part of it? Or where are we not talking about things? The North Node in Gemini is forcing these deeper Sagittarius conversations into the public. It's also, Gemini rules our local activity. So it's how do you change things on a neighborhood level that have a international global impact. So yeah, we got, I mean, big work, big work going on right now, but very necessary. Gemini and Sagittarius axis is about what is true, fake news, what isn't, and yeah, right now it's again a shit show when that shift happens, like everything kind of erupts, Does that answer your question?
It does. It's a shit show with a good purpose.
With a definitely
with a good purpose in the end.
A fiery purpose that has to happen. Yep. Yep.
Somebody else reached out and asked if you could speak to the full moon in Sag that is coming up.
Yes, eclipse season is upon us. So here we have the South Node in Sagittarius, right? So eclipses are beginning in Gemini and Sagittarius. And the first one is on June 5th, full moon. The lunar eclipses always happen with a full moon. The solar eclipses always happen with a new moon. So we have a lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. So that one is really asking us to own our truth. And, an eclipse always brings, when an eclipse reveals a shadow. So there may be an aspect of our truth that we've disowned that we don't want to let people in on. We don't want to let people know this about ourselves, or we don't even want to admit it to ourselves, or we want to redefine something in a way that's very individualistic. Sagittarius lives by its own rules. So this eclipse could people have been in tight quarters, and having to really get real with ourselves about what's going on inside of us. And so I think some of that could even erupt. So if anyone's been repressing themselves or waiting for the right moment, don't let the moment find you, get those oh so real conversations out there, Yeah. It's also a good time for doing some on a less, I know I'm being really intense right now, I'm in retrograde mode, but it actually is like also a time for connecting with people around the world, getting some justice initiatives going. Oh hey Talitha. I'm seeing people pop up. Just really, I don't know, just journeying, letting yourself journey, So, yeah. Yep.
I'll ask. So this is interesting, and I was just going again, lover of astrology. That I run moon circles on Zoom now, and I felt very called to have the subject matter on the full moon in Sagittarius come up be around about talking about past lives. And I was wondering from an astrological perspective if you could educate me and weigh in on why is my gut telling me to discuss that.
Yeah, that's a great question. I love that.
Does that make sense?
It makes
am I on the right
sense.
Track?
Yeah, eclipses, that's that hidden truth. Eclipses are, like I said, they reveal things that we don't want to see. You see the shadow of the earth across the moon during a lunar eclipse, and so what's being illuminated are are these things that haven't come to light, these truths. So our past Sagittarius is higher wisdom, it's the shamanic presence, it's I think of all medicine traditions we're falling under Sagittarius, Pisces, sometimes Aquarius, but like that wisdom that gets distilled into words. So I think helping people really tap into maybe some soul, it sounds like it might be a little bit of a soul retrieval there, huh?
Lady, you are reading my mind. That is literally what we're doing. We are doing a little bit of soul retrieval work, and everybody's going to be journeying back to interact with one of their past lives and get a little info for themselves.
Yeah, Sagittarius is about the journey. And so with the eclipse, I love, oh, cool. Is Satnam going to be doing some drumming for that?
Yes, he
Oh
is.
my
He's
God.
actually, you know what? It was really generous of him. I always offer some type of music that people can turn on their own Zoom with the mute on, right? So that they're not disturbing other people on the call. And Satnam actually offered to do an original journey piece for this full moon, which was so lovely. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is amazing. Oh my God. Well, I'd like to be part of that. That sounds incredible.
Oh,
Um,
someone just asked a great question. Where can we look on our birth chart for past life info, Polly?
that would be your south node.
Okay.
And so the south node of the moon is your past life, and the north node is what you're here to learn, like a new language. In shamanic astrology, your moon sign also represents your past life, and the rising sign is where you're headed. So, and you can actually go to astrostyle.com/birth chart. I can even type that in, and run a free chart. They'll have your north node on there, but the south node's in the exact opposite sign. I also have a whole thing about it on Astrostyle. If you just go Astrostyle south node, it'll pull up. It's one of the first search ones. But yeah, it really is. Yeah, it can tell you so much. Like I have a Cancer south node, so all about my home, and I've got great real estate karma. I'm very connected to the women in my family. We didn't even my mom's family raised us. I didn't even know my dad's family till I was a teenager. So,
Yeah.
do you know your south node?
I don't. Not off the top of my head. I'd
I'll
have to look at my chart.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I was so always like I said, I'm a lover of astrology, and I love learning about it, and it's so informing.
It is. Somebody said, what if your south node is the same as your sun sign and your rising? You're all
Oof.
Taurus. You know, when the south node and sun sync up, so the sun is your expression in the world. And if it syncs up with your south node, you're probably pretty confident in who you are in this lifetime. You're like, I know myself, this is me. And sometimes you can really maybe get a little too comfortable. So you have to give yourself a little push to stretch into your north node, which in your case is Scorpio, which is the opposite sign of Taurus. Um, you may read very Taurus, like impeccable taste, like to curate everything and make everyone around you comfortable. You may be the rock and the anchor for everyone, but you may need to push yourself to kind of get in touch with like a little bit more of the badass Scorpio side of yourself. Get away from your familiar environment, go explore your sexy alter ego. On the other hand, people who have their north node and sun together, I call reluctant superstars. They often resist stepping into their destiny because they don't want to overshadow people, and like they need to just say, fuck it, I'm going to go for it and be the star
Right.
here,
Yeah. We have a dating app question. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Right.
Just started dating someone on a dating app who lives in another city. Is this retrograde a bad time to keep this long distance going if we don't know when we're going to meet due to the pandemic?
Whew. Actually, I think this is a great time to have a long distance relationship. So here's where that Sagittarius Gemini node comes in, and the Gemini retrograde, Venus retrograde. Gemini is all about words. I call it sapiosexual, the intellectual, sexual energy that comes from just having that mental spark. And this is a great time for love letters, for long conversations, and actually maybe even restricting a little bit of the physicality here and there and that urge to merge so that you can get to know each other's minds. And also Sagittarius South Node, like what is long distance? What does that even mean? Like maybe that's a beautiful thing that you'll get to like create your own spaces. I know there's the whole LAT, living apart together relationships. Like we're redefining relationships with Venus retrograde too. Like they don't have to fit into some cookie cutter mold. You know, so swipe away, sister or brother or whoever wrote that, you know.
I totally
that search radius.
Yeah. It's the whole world at this point.
Really, it is. Does it even matter? I don't know.
I totally agree. You know, and it's been really interesting. As I mentioned, and you know, Satnam, my boyfriend, and it's since I haven't seen him since February, it's, you know, it's been a really good exercise in like practicing your friendship, because you don't, like, you can't be lovers right now, like physically. So it is about, you know, this other of like connecting with the mind and being friends and like showing up in those capacities as opposed to other parts that you may in a relationship.
Exactly. Like if you don't have that, you really don't have anything, you know. If you don't have that ability to like meet and greet each other's minds, you don't, you know. And I think that we've been living in such a distracted world. Even in friendships, we haven't you know, really taken the time for the people in our lives. The way that's the hidden blessing, I guess you can say, of this time out, is that we actually do get to slow down. And I find, I don't know, I was like looking at all my patterns shattering all over the place, like, oh my God, I have so much to do, I have so much to do, adrenaline. It's like, but I don't, it gets done and I'm freaking out all the time for what, you know, like, and it was like to avoid intimacy, to avoid my truth, to avoid being with my feelings. And, you know, I started, you know, removing some of that energy. And then all of a sudden I was like, whoa, I'm, you know, everything is shifting. So someone actually asked if this is a bad time to rebrand with Venus and Virgo. With Venus retrograde. So Venus does rule your aesthetics. Venus does rule your, you know, I wouldn't go for the final rebrand before June 25th. I would really use this period to research and cultivate and drill down to your message. Not
a little soft launch.
Or even just get the mood boards going, but don't unleash your whole new palette and scheme and fonts yet.
We also have let's see, Novice of Wine asks, I'm a single Gemini and wondered if I need to wait until the end of Venus retrograde. Things don't seem to be working out as the moment as I'd like them to.
Well, Geminis have Venus retrograde in your sign. So for you, truly, this is a journey of self-love first. You know, it's like, and we are doing a romance reset course, which I highly recommend.
Tell me more.
Yeah. So my twin sister and I, we are true identical twins. Astro Twins is the name, because our names are kind of hard to say. But we developed a course called Romance Reset. It actually is all about looking back and reviewing 8-year cycles. What has happened since 2012? What has happened in your life? Where are you? You know, it's meant to get you unstuck, to look at your attachment style, to look at your how you might be mirroring people. We do a whole body love ritual, an inventory. It's 7 days. So every day you'll get a new exercise sent to you. There'll be a video to watch. You'll find out if you're morning star or evening star Venus, what that means. And it is about like just creating the space. We really identified 2 time zones. There's Earth time, which is where it's like, I must do this now. And we need that. It's like chronological muggle time, right? Where shit gets done. And then there's Venus time or Kairos, where you can just lose track of the clock. And that's where romance lives. And so this course is about helping you to balance that, create space for both so you can have relationships and romance. And it's a 7-day process. And people are loving it, you know. I basically took myself through it to design it. So, I'm having a lot of big changes in my love life, and
Oh.
yeah, really beautiful ones. I have like reconnected to a deep romantic part of myself that I forgot was there, and I'm feeling very happy. So there's a lot of love and amazing energy and truth that was put into designing this course. It's not necessarily easy, it's not necessarily comfortable, but it's about what's true to you. So, our Gemini, you guys should, it'll be what you need it to be, but don't you want, I feel like Venus retrograde is a chance to just recalibrate and reset so that you can have that rich energy. Sometimes there's things to let go of, and sometimes there's things to embrace that you like, shouldn't I? But it'll help you distill what that is and see patterns. In fact, I started, and it might help you creatively too. Like the first course I designed was 8 years ago, and now I'm like all into designing courses again. So, things will repeat like that, That's why I said, look back to 2012, Yep. Yep.
Oh my gosh. So someone was asking on here, they're like, do I need to be in a relationship to take this course? And I think that's a really interesting question, because you could either be sorting things out in your love life, or you're taking that self-love journey, right? Your relationship with yourself.
It is. The definition that kind of arose, for me as I was working on it for romance was like, you know, connecting to the beauty, magic, and divinity, your beauty, magic, and divinity as seen through your own eyes or through the eyes of another. So, you do not need a partner to have a romance. It's great when one appears, if that's what's supposed to be happening. But, a lot of times we don't have a person because we don't have the space for the person. We think we do because, what, I have all the time in the world. That's not necessarily the space that's going to call in the romance for you. It's a space of being connected to yourself, doing your work, of self-love. So wherever you are on the journey, it'll help get you recalibrated for that, whatever's supposed to come in next.
Yeah.
There's times to be single and times to be in a relationship,
So true. So true. And I know I have a lot of business bosses following me.
Oh,
and
cool.
A lot of, spiritual slashies, right? Mirror, mirror on the wall. So they've had a career in one area and have switched over into some realm of the spiritual world, or they're blending it together. I was just kind of wondering, like, for, people that don't know this part of you, like, how did you get into the biz? And,
Okay.
What's it like to run a spiritual business and to create a course? Like, some people might be like, oh my God, that sounds overwhelming. How the fuck do I do that?
Exactly. Some courses are easy to create and some will, like this one, will just fuck up your life in a really good way. But, and then you do the work and then you just go, okay, I'm going to write this down when I can focus, for me, business stems from, I'm sure you understand this. It's like, you can't force a business idea if it's going to be your passion. It's like, I think the truest businesses are the ones that begin with something you would do even if nobody ever paid you for it. Astrology was that for me. I was the annoying person guessing everyone's sign at a party, interrupting them. I'm like, they'd be talking about something. Are you an Aquarius? It's just like, I can't help myself. And I'll remember everyone's birthday, and they'll tell me their family's birthdays, and I'll remember that. So obviously there was, but I built this slowly, organically. I used to design websites. I did landscaping. I did anything I could, to pay the bills while it was, germinating, I guess. I taught myself web design by building an astrology website. So, but I kind of go along the path of generosity. I think, like, I'm a Burning Man kind of gal. So the gift economy works. Give people give, and if it's what people want, it comes back. Now there's a point where you have to start charging, but you know, you know when you're there. I think it's okay to, like, some people have to be warmed up a little bit to it. That's always worked well for me, to like barter things, or hey, I'll do a reading, let me practice, let me try this, you know. And then at some point you just know, it's like, okay, I'm going to start, I feel that I've gained enough experience to charge for it. But as far as the designing a class, I'm a pretty good outliner. I like to just, I'll come up with my outline, but then I'll just have to go for walks and talk and read, and then fill it in from there. Like, what do I want to show people by, and be willing to have it change a lot. Like, my outline never is what the final product looks like, you know.
No.
So you know that well, right?
Yeah. And I mean, and you ladies, like, you've written so many books. That is another, like, I mean, that is a journey, I think, way bigger than maybe writing a course. Like, that is,
well, you know, from your book too, right?
a big deal.
Oh my
yes.
God, it is.
My book almost killed me on the top of a mountain, but
Did it?
I'm here to, yeah, it did. Actually, I literally almost bit it at 16,000 feet in Peru.
Wait, oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah, I'm totally serious.
Yeah, Virgos and book writing, your perfectionism will kick in, right?
I mean, writing the outline was no problem for me.
But it was the actual, I know, it's like, take it in small bites. Like, I like fill in the blanks. It's like, oh, I'll do a little Pisces here, I'll do a little Leo here. But there's always this point where you want to, like, trash the book about, you know, 2/3 of the way in, and like you think everything sucks. Oh, yay!
There it is. I'm plugging this book
Aww.
because I love it. Anyone that doesn't have it, Satnam buys it for me every year. He's super sweet. And I give this to all my clients. I mean, you know, they have questions.
Aww.
Yeah, about astrology. I'm like, hey, this is your book, lady. Like, just, this is a Bible. Get it. Yeah.
It is a Bible to write. It is. I mean, you know, the good news.
The size of a Bible.
I know. I don't know how that, it helps
People,
have a twin.
I mean, look at this. Look at this.
I know, we are insane.
Knowledge.
We are insane. We're insane. I don't know. I'm a really fast writer when I can focus in, but I just have to go into the zone and be like, you know. And I know I have your book upstairs in my moon room, my little pod space. Yeah, I know. Well, I think you just do it, right? Like, that's how it goes. You know, you're going to want to quit 1,000 times, but it's all about commitment. You stay there and you just finish it because you said you were going to, you know. Yeah. I've done a lot of that. I know, it's like, you know, I've done a lot of landmarks, so it's like,
right in the corner.
Oh yeah.
I asked for an extension from the publisher.
Oh yeah, that has to. I'm my own publisher, so I've given myself quite a few of those.
Oh,
you know. A book is like giving birth. It really is.
It really is. And I had a couple new moms actually, like, tell me that, because I was like, I would never want to compare that to what you just went through as a mother, but I feel like that, and they're like, yeah, that's real. I totally, especially some mom authors, you know, that have been through it on both sides of the coin. They were like, yeah, that's real. It is. It can be that intense.
You get stretched and torn. No, sorry, that's the wrong, but yeah.
You might,
though. You might. There may be some fissures.
It's a huge teacher to undertake something like that.
I know it is, but it's never done alone. You know, like, I think the key also to having a great business is to just always be learning and living, you know, like, and then bring that in. Stay current, stay present, stay up on things. You can't stop, you know, like, I hate Instagram sometimes, but I have to keep doing it, you know. It's like, don't try to spread yourself too thin either. Find your wheelhouse and go for it. I mean, the thing is, yeah, actually, this is a great time for writers. When you asked about the Gemini North Node and the Sagittarius South Node, Sagittarius rules publishing and media, and Gemini as well as writing and podcasting, broadcasting ideas. So, the next 16 months are anyone who's got like a talent for writing or ideas or a podcast or lives, like should start doing that, like it's actually a time to be more experimental with it. But I think people will be looking for more truth and facts and confirmed data than we have in the past. That's going to start coming in. So yeah,
for sure. I mean, so many systems are going to change for the better. And there's so many things that it was just like, people are like, oh, this is how we clean things now, or this is how we do whatever. I was like, you should have been doing that.
I know. It's like, but here we are doing it. Anyways, yep. It's like, well, we should talk about the eclipse, the other eclipse too, on June 21st, which is the last eclipse. So we have our first eclipse on June 5th in the Sagittarius Gemini series. There's another one in Gemini, the full moon lunar eclipse on November 30th, and then the new moon in Sag on December 14th are both eclipses. But June 21st is the final eclipse in the Cancer Capricorn series that began 2 years ago on July 12th of 2018. So those have been stirring up gender dynamics, work, home balance, how much importance we put on money versus family, work, and how much is too much, where have we lost our rootedness and our connection to our emotions in order to grow and be ambitious, and what's the right amount of growth for us and as individuals. So this last one is a Cancer new moon. It happens right after the solstice. It'll be on January 21st. And then there's a second Cancer new moon a month later, I think on July 20th, the 19th or 20th. And so some years you get like 2 new moons in one sign, and some years you get 2 full moons in one sign. But like this year we have 2 Cancer new moons in the summer where Mercury will be retrograde in Cancer. So there's going to be a lot of
get out the Kleenex.
Exactly. Right? I know. A lot of feeling energy, a lot of focus on home, and
oh my God,
right,
there's
clean
so many
as you go, Mark. Yeah.
Toilet paper shortage. It's going to be the Kleenex apocalypse of 2020.
Yeah, but it is like a lot of home and foundational, like opening up that emotional vault and dealing with what's there, getting yourself rooted and grounded in who you are on a very core level, right? So
totally. Oh my gosh. Someone asked, I think, a general astrology question that's super important that I'd love for you to address, if you don't mind. They were asking that if you don't know your exact birth time, if you could get an accurate chart found for yourself.
There are astrologers that do rectified charts, they're called. So they'll take you through a conversation and go, tell me about this and that. And then they can sort of distill based on moving the chart around and the houses, what feels right. So that's the best you can do. However, you should definitely still run your chart. Your rising sign and houses will be off. The moon, couple planets, if they're at 0 degrees or 29 degrees, the beginning and end, you might not be sure which sign they're in, but you can still get so much information from just the zodiac sign and the planet. So run your chart anyways, I would say.
I was also, creeping around the interwebs. What are your thoughts about, like, I've just been hearing different astrologers speak to the fact about, like, obviously where everything's aligned, that the last time the stars were like this is when the bubonic plague happened, or this or this or this, and like looking from a cosmic perspective of when COVID may lift or shift or whatever. Could you speak to that?
Yeah, as best as an astrologer can, which is, I always look at why. So, okay, Jupiter and Pluto, astrologically, one of the the cycles that's repeating itself this year is that Jupiter and Pluto, which meet up every 25 years in the same sign. I think actually, is that right? Is that they were together, let's just say, in Capricorn. And the last time, as they're meeting up 3 times in Capricorn this year: April 4th, June 30th, when they're both retrograde, and then again one more time November 13th. That cycle is happening actually in 1771 when there was a plague, and then there was a similar cycle happening during the Spanish flu. It was in a different zodiac sign then, though. Jupiter exposes, it's the spotlight. Jupiter is the ruler of the heavens. Pluto is like what's buried underground, all the secrets, all the things. So yes, there's a lot of conspiracy theories going around, but it's not without good reason. There's some shady ass Pluto shit going on, and Jupiter is like, is it this? Is it big pharma? Is it, and honestly, I'm afraid that we may never fully know. It really is. It's Pluto's stuff is nefarious, it's really, and Saturn and Pluto also met up for the first. So Saturn and Pluto meet up every 35 years, but they haven't met up in Capricorn since 1518 AD. And there was actually a dancing plague that has been recorded in history. The last time Saturn and Pluto met up in Capricorn, it was in, I think, 𝗧𝗹𝗶 Germany or something. People literally, it was like the world's oldest recorded rave. Like people actually could not stop dancing. I don't know, maybe they ate some mushrooms or something that they didn't know. I don't know, but they like literally dropped dead from dancing, So
it's not the worst way to go.
I know. I guess I'm saying that we all have to go sometime. I would go out like that. But yeah, it's that happened in 1518. So crazy stuff. I think so. As far as what's going on, so here we have Saturn, the planet of restriction, now moving out of Capricorn, which rules all these corporate interests, into Aquarius, an air sign. I'm looking symbolically, like our breath got taken away basically by COVID. It affects your breathing, your ability to process air. Like we were running out of breathing room. This Capricorn energy has been it's like life got so high pressure and intense, that we didn't even have room to breathe. So Jupiter is going to move into Aquarius. So there's another big deal thing happening at the end of the year on the winter solstice on December 21st. Jupiter and Saturn are meeting up at 0 degrees Aquarius. It's this event that happens every 20 years called the Great Conjunction, when expansive Jupiter and restrictive Saturn meet up in the same sign. For the last 200 years, every 20 years, they meet up in Earth signs. So it's all been about I own land, I will mine the earth, I will work with natural resources. Now for the next 200 years, every 20 years, the Great Conjunctions happen in air signs. So we need more breathing room, we need more space, we need to exchange ideas and intellectual property, communication, cooperation. Those are the new currencies. We've run out of our ability to take stuff from the earth and work with it in that Jupiter-Saturn way. So now it's all about ideas and innovation and people. And so that's, we talk about that in the book a bit too. But yeah, there's, I know, I've got all these dates in my head. Thank God for my Scorpio moon. Oh my God.
I have a Scorpio moon too.
Oh, you do?
And a Sag rising.
Oh, awesome. Oh my God, I love Scorpio moons. Once you understand your Scorpio moon, didn't you feel just like, okay, I feel seen again in the world,
I do. Like I tell Satnam, I have a sharp tongue and a sharp tail.
Oh yeah. But a soft heart's in between, right? Totally.
Yeah. It's interesting. Somebody asked me with the COVID thing recently, they're like, what do you think about this from a shamanic perspective? And what I was you know, to your point, how things are kind of shifting. I was telling them with the resources, right? That, you know, whatever you want to say, somebody, a country, a corporation, whoever lit the Amazon on fire, and the Amazon is the lungs of our planet. And I was telling her, I said, well, we lit our Earth's lungs on fire, and now our lungs are burning. Like, I don't,
wow.
I feel that, you know,
and we've been lighting so many things on fire, you know.
Yeah.
Burning. Yeah. I mean, wow. Yep. Well, your Virgo Scorpio moon can really tune into that. Yeah. It's, you know, it is always as above, so below, or as within, so without. It's all in the same realm, in the same side. Yeah. I think, you know, we're moving, there's a lot of air sign energy that, you know, we need to deal with the air. We really do. We need to, you know, what's out there, what we put on the airwaves, what we, you know, how we treat that. I mean, our breath is the ultimate currency, you know, and I think it's going to be, you know, become more and more of a valuable commodity, the ability to breathe as we move forward. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Well, Instagram's going to kick us off here shortly, and
it's so sad. Scorpio moons never like to go.
I know,
but stay. Yeah.
But yes, and first of all, somebody asked if this was going to be reposted. Yes, this will get reposted to my IGTV. So if you want to refer to Tali's wisdom, you can find her again, and I'll also send her a copy, so she will do whatever she wants to do with that.
Okay,
but
cool. I'll post it.
I have your website pinned here, but if you just, I mean, tell everybody like where they can find you, because you and your sister are all over the place.
Apparently, when you have a twin, you can jump up.
Oh, hello.
We got Lux here. Come on.
Oh, hi.
He's just gonna bite me. He's a little feisty Cancer. He likes to sit there and he's like the guardian. So astrostyle.com, daily, weekly, monthly horoscopes, new moons, full moons, all that good stuff. Follow us at AstroTwins. And so yeah, all of our courses, there's a link, there's a free Venus retrograde webinar that you can watch. There's a link in my bio. And if you like it, you can sign up for the 7-day romance reset course. I'm actually working on a new one called the Soulmate Code, which is about that'll be out January 10th. And June 10th. God, don't take us to January. June 10th. And it's going to be all about compatibility. And once you reset yourself romantically, now you've got relationships around you. So how do you work with each other effectively? And and using astrology. So yeah, but I recommend romance reset first, because you want to be open for it. You want to be, even if you're in a relationship, like get your channels open so you can actually see who's there with you and who you're being. That's essential to it all. So yeah, thanks so much for doing this.
I really appreciate your time. This has been awesome and a breath of fresh air in my day, lady.
Yeah, me too. Thanks, Satnam, for hooking this up. You know,
you sent us on an astrology date.
I know. We'll have to have you on to talk crystals soon too.
Oh, yeah. I would love that.
I know. We're gonna make that happen. So. I know we didn't even scratch the surface on that. I've got questions for you next. So.
Okay, fair enough. I will come on and help out there. Yeah, you know what? Actually, we're talking about the lungs. This is, if we can leave people with one little crystal to work with that they may not be familiar with, this is called 𝗧𝗹𝗏, and 𝗧𝗹𝗏 works with the idea of lung vitality, which I think is very, very
beautiful, by the way,
present for right now.
And Gemini rules the lungs. It's the first part of the, it's like the pairing. Yeah, Gemini is associated with lungs in medical astrology. So how we breathe, how we move air. So, get some breathing room in your love lives, everyone,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks for having me on, and send me the replay, all right?
I will.
Okay, bye
Sanam's
everyone.
gonna put music and all kinds of good stuff and some fun little sound
He
effects,
is?
and then he's going to, yeah, he's going to gussy it up and send it over to you.
Aw, we love you too, Satnam. All right, awesome. Okay, well, while Lux takes us out, and yeah.
Yeah, he said he's like, it's time to go. We're done here.
Okay, he's like, you're done. It's time. Mom, I need you back, Mom. Yeah. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Pally. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.